Hey, it's Captain Matt, Boat Buyer's Secret Weapon, and today, if you haven't heard the news, BRP kills yet another major brand in the boating industry. Well, actually, multiple brands. This is the press release that they put out about a week and a half ago from when I'm recording this. They're in the process of selling off their marine business. So technically killing might be an overstatement, but they shut down Evinrude during the pandemic, a brand that has been going on for, it had major following, and they just shuttered it completely. They're actually trying to salvage some of the brands. Now, when they say they're selling their marine business, they're selling Manitou, they're selling Alumacraft, two brands that have been around for a long time. We'll talk about when they acquired them, as well as Telwater, with Quintrex being the major brand there. That's out of Australia. So they're packaging those up and selling them off. They're maintaining the Sea-Doos, the Rotax engines, the Sea-Doo switch, that they're keeping, and they're selling off the brands as well as the Rotax Outboard. If you've watched some of my other videos, you know, not a fan of that, and obviously nobody else is either, because what happened is, this is Jeremy Anderson. He was very instrumental in growing the Big Thunder brand, and has been a longtime industry veteran. And you see, here's this post from LinkedIn. BRP ruined Manitou by telling dealers what they would sell instead of asking them what they could sell. Now, Jeremy is one that they had Manitou. Another dealer that I know very well told me years ago that at the dealer meeting, I want to say it was in 2021 or 2022, that they went to the dealer meeting and they dropped it the next day. They said the direction they were heading, making everybody put or not making them, but wanting to put that Rotax Outboard on all of their boat brands, that they had it figured out. The design of the boat, a Manitou and a Alumacraft, two brands that were very, very strong, had great reputations. I put Manitou as my number 2 quality boat back in 2020, and before BRP purchased them. And after they made these changes, just the leadership at BRP, hey, they do a great job and they're dominating in the PWC space. They've got the Rotax engine, which is solid in the Sea-Doos, in the snowmobiles, in airplanes even, but the outboard version of the Rotax was a disaster, and I think that's part of what took down these brands. If you look at, I tried to look at the annual reports to see what the marine sales, but they had the switch sales in there, which actually had their marine sales doing pretty well. But when you take the switch out, some of the other research I've done from, if you watch Team Marine, Andy over at Team Marine was talking about, some of his sources tell him that revenue was down over 50% year over year on just the boat brands that they're selling. I'm not sure where he's getting his information from, but a very accurate source traditionally in the industry. So essentially, these brands that were great reputations, great following, just like they did to Evinrude, they ran them into the ground. They're trying to salvage them. If you look, they bought Alumacraft in 2018, Manitou in 2018. When a new owner takes over, it takes a couple of years before kind of their influence starts to hit. And it was 2020 when you saw things in Manitou kind of shift, 2021, and then Telwater, which is actually 4 or 5 brands out of Australia. Quintrex, the big one, Stacer, Savage, Yellowfin, Archer, not the Yellowfin that you may know here in the States, and then the Rotax Outboard, all of the R&D. So $291 million invested into these boat brands over the last 6-7 years. The R&D that they put in that Rotax Outboard, which is flopped. I mean, I would be surprised if they sold 500 of those things. If there's even that many on the water, I would guess it's way closer to 100. So my question is, hey, what are they going to sell for? And who do you think is going to buy it? It's really interesting. Alumacraft, a very strong aluminum fishing brand. You put a Merc, you put a Yamaha, you put a Suzuki on the back. They've got some proven brand credibility and proven layouts. Now, they tried to redesign it for the Rotax Outboard, and that was not successful, obviously. Manitou, a great base, with their running surfaces on their tunes. The layouts that they had, incredibly well built until they redesigned it last year, I think, maybe 2 years ago, when I saw that first Sea-Doo switch looking schematic on it, just the exterior. Tailwater, I'm not really sure what they've done with that brand. It's in Australia. I don't follow it that closely, but they are huge. I think 6,000 boats, or no, I think it was 10,000 boats and 6,000 trailers is what they did last year. So a very big presence in Australia. Don't know anything about them to report, but who's going to step in and buy these brands? Is it going to be Mercury that says, hey, we got a bargain basement, we can pick up another addition to our London Low? Does maybe Yamaha, who's got the G3 Suncatcher, do they say, hey, we can add another line for our boats? Does maybe Suzuki jump in and say, hey, we're gonna buy some transoms that we can put these motors on and get into the game that way, which has been very successful for Mercury and Mercruiser? Or is it going to be somebody else that comes in, and my gut tells me at a very, very reduced price that they need to offload these because they have spent a lot of money. It's a big fat loser for BRP. So who's going to buy it, and what's that number going to be? Almost $300 million is what they've invested. Throw the Rotax Outboard R&D. I mean, that was a 4 or 5 year project. Holy smokes. I don't know how many, tens of millions, I doubt hundreds of millions, but tens of millions of dollars were invested in that. If you've got any insight, if you're in the industry, give me your thoughts. If you're somebody that owns one of these brands, what do you think? They say they're going to support the parts. Well, they said the same thing with Evinrude. And when I talked to Evinrude service centers, some of them say, yeah, we're okay. I think they're typically talking about the older stuff, but some of them say they kind of just left their clients hanging, and they're doing a lot of things that are, they adhere to the letter of the law supporting, but the spirit of the law, they've done some things to kind of keep themselves out of trouble, but not supported the end customer. So let me know what you think. If you have a Rotax outboard, let me know what you think. And it'll be very interesting. I predicted this several years ago that as we hit this downturn, we're going to see some boat brands go out of business. Now, BRP's in the fortunate position that they've got something to keep them afloat, and they can hold on to sell this. I think this is one of the first to fall, and we're going to see some other boat brands go under. You saw it with Silver Wave and Blue Wave that closed down within the last year and a half. I think we'll see additional brands hit the chopping block, go up for sale, or just be shuttered completely. Let me know your thoughts. And if you're looking to buy a boat, you can grab that Boat Buyer's Toolkit, totally free, boatersecretweapon.com/toolkit. Give us a thumbs up. Let me know your comments and your thoughts. And remember, life truly is better on a boat.